Hadith 1. Narrated Aisha, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq had never broken his oaths till Allah revealed the expiation for the oaths. Then he said, if I take an oath to do something, and later on I find something else better than the first one, then I do what is better and make expiation for my oath. Hadith 2. Narrated Abdur Rahman bin Samurah, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, O Abdur Rahman bin Samurah, do not seek to be a ruler, because if you are given authority for it, then you will be held responsible for it, but if you are given it without asking for it, then you will be helped in it, by Allah. And whenever you take an oath to do something, and later you find that something else is better than the first, then do the better one and make expiation for your oath. Hadith 3. Narrated Abu Musa, I went to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, along with a group of al-Ash'ariyin in order to request him to provide us with mounts. He said, by Allah, I will not provide you with mounts and I haven't got anything to mount you on. Then we stayed there as long as Allah wished us to stay, and then 3 very nice-looking she-camels were brought to him and he made us ride them. When we left, we, or some of us, said, by Allah, we will not be blessed, as we came to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, asking him for mounts, and he swore that he would not give us any mounts, but then he did give us. So let us go back to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and remind him of his oath. When we returned to him, and reminded him of the fact, he said, I did not give you mounts, but it is Allah who gave you. By Allah, Allah willing, if I ever take an oath to do something and then I find something else better than the first, I will make expiation for my oath and do the thing which is better, or do something which is better and give the expiation for my oath. Hadith 4. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, we, Muslims, are the last in the world, but will be foremost on the day of resurrection. Hadith 5. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, also said, by Allah, if any one of you insists on fulfilling an oath by which he may harm his family, he commits a greater sin in Allah's sight than that of dissolving his oath and making expiation for it. Hadith 6. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, anyone who takes an oath through which his family may be harmed, and insists on keeping it, he surely commits a sin greater than that of dissolving his oath. He should rather compensate for that oath by making expiation. Hadith 7. Narrated Ibn Umar, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, sent an army detachment and made Usama bin Zayd its commander. Some people criticized, spoke badly of Usama's leadership. So Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, got up saying, if you people are criticizing Usama's leadership, you have already criticized the leadership of his father before. But Wa'imullah, that is, by Allah, he, that is, Zayd, deserved the leadership, and he was one of the most beloved persons to me, and now this, his son Usama, is one of the dearest persons to me after him. Hadith 8. Narrated Ibn Umar, the oath of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, used to be, no, by him who turns the hearts. Hadith 9. Narrated Jabir bin Samurah, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, if Caesar is ruined, there will be no Caesar after him, and if Khosra is ruined, there will be no Khosra after him, and by him in whose hand my soul is, surely you will spend their treasures in Allah's cause. Hadith 10. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, if Khosra is ruined, there will be no Khosra after him, and if Caesar is ruined, there will be no Caesar after him. By him in whose hand Muhammad's soul is, surely you will spend their treasures in Allah's cause. Hadith 11. Narrated Aisha, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, O followers of Muhammad, by Allah, if you knew what I know, you would weep much and laugh little. Hadith 12. Narrated Abdullah bin Hisham, we were with the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and he was holding the hand of Umar bin al-Khattab. Umar said to him, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. You are dearer to me than everything except my own self. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, No, by him in whose hand my soul is, you will not have complete faith, till I am dearer to you than your own self. Then Umar said to him, However, now, by Allah, you are dearer to me than my own self. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Now, O Umar, now you are a believer. Hadith 13. Narrated Abu Hurairah and Zayd bin Khalid, two men had a dispute in the presence of Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. One of them said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. Judge between us according to Allah's laws. The other, who was wiser, said, Yes, O Allah's Apostle. Judge between us according to Allah's laws and allow me to speak. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Speak. He said, My son was a laborer serving this person, and he committed illegal sexual intercourse with his wife. The people said that my son is to be stoned to death, but I ransomed him with 100 sheep and a slave girl. Then I asked the learned people, who informed me that my son should receive 100 lashes and will be exiled for 1 year, and stoning will be the lot for the man's wife. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Indeed, by him in whose hand my soul is, I will judge between you according to Allah's laws. As for your sheep and slave girl, they are to be returned to you. Then he scourged his son 100 lashes and exiled him for 1 year. Then Unais al-Aslami was ordered to go to the wife of the second man, and if she confessed the crime, then stone her to death. She did confess, so he stoned her to death. Hadith 14. Narrated Abu Bakr, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Do you think if the tribes of Aslam, Ghifar, Muzayna and Juhayna are better than the tribes of Tamim, Amr bin Sa'sa, Ghatafan and Asad, they, the second group, are despairing and losing? They, the Prophet's companions, said, Yes, they are. He said, By him in whose hand my soul is, they, the first group, are better than them, the second group. Hadith 15. Narrated Abu Humayd as-Sa'idi, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, employed an employee, to collect zakat. The employee returned after completing his job and said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. This amount of zakat is for you, and this other amount was given to me as a present. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said to him, Why didn't you stay at your father's or mother's house and see if you would be given presents or not? Then Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, got up in the evening after the prayer, and having testified that none has the right to be worshipped but Allah and praised and glorified Allah as he deserved, he said, Now then. What about an employee whom we employ and then he comes and says, This amount of zakat is for you, and this amount was given to me as a present? Why didn't he stay at the house of his father and mother to see if he would be given presents or not? By him in whose hand Muhammad's soul is, none of you will steal anything of it, that is, zakat, but will bring it by carrying it over his neck on the day of resurrection. If it has been a camel, he will bring it over his neck, while it will be grunting, and if it has been a cow, he will bring it over his neck, while it will be mooing, and if it has been a sheep, he will bring it over his neck, while it will be bleating. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, added, I have preached you Allah's message. Abu Humayd said, Then Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, raised his hand so high that we saw the whiteness of his armpits. Hadith 16. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Abul Qasim, the Prophet, said, By him in whose hand Muhammad's soul is, if you knew that which I know, you would weep much and laugh little. Hadith 17. Narrated Abu Dar, I reached him, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, while in the shade of the Kaaba, he was saying, They are the losers, by the Lord of the Kaaba. They are the losers, by the Lord of the Kaaba. I said to myself, what is wrong with me? Is anything improper detected in me? What is wrong with me? Then I sat beside him and he kept on saying his statement. I could not remain quiet, and Allah knows in what sorrowful state I was at that time. So I said, who are they, the losers? Let my father and mother be sacrificed for you, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. He said, they are the wealthy people, except the one who does like this and like this and like this, that is, spends of his wealth in Allah's cause. Hadith 18. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, the Prophet, Solomon once said, tonight I will sleep with 90 women, each of whom will bring forth a would-be cavalier who will fight in Allah's cause. On this, his companion said to him, say, Allah willing. But he did not say Allah willing. Solomon then slept with all the women, but none of them became pregnant but one woman who later delivered a half-man. By him in whose hand Muhammad's soul is, if he, Solomon, had said, Allah willing, all his wives would have brought forth boys, and they would have fought in Allah's cause as cavaliers. Hadith 19. Narrated Al-Bara bin Azib, a piece of silken cloth was given to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, as a present, and the people handed it over amongst themselves and were astonished at its beauty and softness. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, are you astonished at it? They said, yes, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. He said, by him in whose hand my soul is, the handkerchiefs of Sa'd in paradise are better than it. Hadith 20. Narrated Aisha, Hind bint Utbah bin Rabi'ah said, O Allah's Apostle, before I embraced Islam, there was no family on the surface of the earth I wished to have degraded more than I did your family. But today there is no family whom I wish to have honored more than I do yours. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, I thought similarly, by him in whose hand Muhammad's soul is. Hind said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. My husband, Abu Sufyan, is a miser. Is it sinful of me to feed my children from his property? The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, no, unless you take it for your needs what is just and reasonable. Hadith 21. Narrated Abdullah bin Masud, while Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, was sitting, reclining his back against a Yemenite leather tent, he said to his companions, will you be pleased to be 1/4 of the people of paradise? They said, yes. He said, won't you be pleased to be 1/3 of the people of paradise? They said, yes. He said, by him in whose hand Muhammad's soul is, I hope that you will be 1/2 of the people of paradise. Hadith 22. Narrated Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, a man heard another man reciting, Surah al-Ikhlas, the Unity, say, he is Allah, the One, and he was repeating it. The next morning he came to Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, and mentioned the whole story to him as if he regarded the recitation of that surah as insufficient. On that, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, by him in whose hand my soul is. That, Surah 112, equals 1/3 of the Quran. Hadith 23. Narrated Anas bin Malik, I heard the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, saying, perform the bowing and the prostration properly, with peace of mind, for by him in whose hand my soul is, I see you from behind my back when you bow and when you prostrate. Hadith 24. Narrated Anas bin Malik, an Ansari woman came to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, in the company of her children, and the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said to her, by him in whose hand my soul is, you are the most beloved people to me. And he repeated the statement thrice. Hadith 25. Narrated Ibn Umar, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, met Umar bin al-Khattab while the latter was going with a group of camel riders, and he was swearing by his father. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Lo! Allah forbids you to swear by your fathers, so whoever has to take an oath, he should swear by Allah or keep quiet. Hadith 26. Narrated Ibn Umar, I heard Umar saying, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said to me, Allah forbids you to swear by your fathers. Umar said, By Allah! Since I heard that from the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, I have not taken such an oath, neither intentionally, nor by reporting the oath of someone else. Hadith 27. Narrated Abdullah bin Umar, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Do not swear by your fathers. Hadith 28. Narrated Zahdam, there was a relation of love and brotherhood between this tribe of Jarm and al-Ash'ariyin. Once we were with Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, and then a meal containing chicken was brought to Abu Musa, and there was present a man from the tribe of Taimullah who was of red complexion as if he were from non-Arab freed slaves. Abu Musa invited him to the meal. He said, I have seen chickens eating dirty things, so I deemed it filthy and took an oath that I would never eat chicken. On that, Abu Musa said, Get up, I will narrate to you about that. Once a group of the Ash'ariyin and I went to Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, and asked him to provide us with mounts. He said, By Allah, I will never give you any mounts nor do I have anything to mount you on. Then a few camels of war booty were brought to Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, and he asked about us, saying, Where are the Ash'ariyin? He then ordered 5 nice camels to be given to us, and when we had departed, we said, What have we done? Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, had taken the oath not to give us any mounts, and that he had nothing to mount us on, and later he gave us that we might ride? Did we take advantage of the fact that Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, had forgotten his oath? By Allah, we will never succeed. So we went back to him and said to him, We came to you to give us mounts, and you took an oath that you would not give us any mounts and that you had nothing to mount us on. On that, he said, I did not provide you with mounts, but Allah did. By Allah, if I take an oath to do something, and then find something else better than it, I do that which is better and make expiation for the dissolution of the oath. Hadith 29. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Whoever swears saying in his oath, By Al-Lat and Al-Uzza, should say, None has the right to be worshipped but Allah, and whoever says to his friend, Come, let me gamble with you, should give something in charity. Hadith 30. Narrated Ibn Umar, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, had a gold ring made for himself, and he used to wear it with the stone towards the inner part of his hand. Consequently, the people had similar rings made for themselves. Afterwards the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, sat on the pulpit and took it off, saying, I used to wear this ring and keep it stone towards the palm of my hand. He then threw it away and said, By Allah, I will never wear it. Therefore all the people threw away their rings as well. Hadith 31. Narrated Thabit bin ad-Dahhak, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Whoever swears by a religion other than Islam is as he says, and whoever commits suicide with something will be punished with the same thing in the hell, fire, and cursing a believer is like murdering him, and whoever accuses a believer of disbelief, then it is as if he had killed him. Hadith 32. Narrated Abu Hurairah that he heard the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, saying, Allah decided to test 3 people from Bani Israel. So, he sent an angel who came first to the leper and said, I am a traveler, who has run short of all means of living, and I have nobody to help me except Allah, and then with your help. Abu Hurairah then mentioned the complete narration. Hadith 33. Narrated Al-Bara, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, ordered us to help others to fulfill the oaths. Hadith 34. Narrated Usama, once a daughter of Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, sent a message to Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, while Usama, Sa'd, and my father, or Ubay, were sitting there with him. She said, in the message, my child is going to die, please come to us. Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, returned the messenger and told him to convey his greetings to her, and say, whatever Allah takes is for him, and whatever he gives is for him, and everything with him has a limited fixed term, in this world, so she should be patient and hope for Allah's reward. Then she again sent for him swearing that he should come, so the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, got up, and so did we. When he sat there, at the house of his daughter, the child was brought to him, and he took him into his lap while the child's breath was disturbed in his chest. The eyes of Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, started shedding tears. Sa'd said, what is this, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him? The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, this is the mercy which Allah has lodged in the hearts of whoever he wants of his slaves, and verily Allah is merciful only to those of his slaves who are merciful to others. Hadith 35. Narrated Abu Hurairah, Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, said, any Muslim who has lost 3 of his children will not be touched by the fire except that which will render Allah's oath fulfilled. Hadith 36. Narrated Harithah bin Wahab, I heard the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, saying, shall I tell you of the people of paradise? They comprise every poor humble person, and if he swears by Allah to do something, Allah will fulfill it, while the people of the fire comprise every violent, cruel, arrogant person. Hadith 37. Narrated Abdullah, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was asked, who are the best people? He replied, the people of my generation, and then those who will follow, come after them, and then those who will come after the later. After that there will come some people whose witness will precede their oaths and their oaths will go ahead of their witness. Ibrahim, a sub-narrator, said, when we were young, our elder friends used to prohibit us from taking oaths by saying, I bear witness swearing by Allah, or by Allah's covenant. Hadith 38. Narrated Abdullah, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, whoever swears falsely in order to grab the property of a Muslim, or of his brother, Allah will be angry with him when he meets him. Allah then revealed in confirmation of the above statement, verily those who purchase a small gain at the cost of Allah's covenant and their own oaths. Surah 3, Ayah 77. Al-Ash'ath said, this verse was revealed regarding me and a companion of mine when we had a dispute about a well. Hadith 39. Narrated Anas bin Malik, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, the hell fire will keep on saying, are there any more people to come? Till the Lord of power and honor will put his foot over it and then it will say, cut, cut, sufficient, sufficient, by your power and honor. And its various sides will come close to each other, that is, it will contract. Hadith 40. Narrated Az-Zuhri, I heard Urwah bin Az-Zubayr, Sa'id bin al-Musayyab, Uqamah bin Waqqas and Ubaydullah bin Abdullah narrating from Aisha, the wife of the Prophet, the story about the liars who said what they said about her and how Allah revealed her innocence afterwards. Each one of the above 4 narrators narrated to me a portion of her narration. It was said in it, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, stood up, saying, is there anyone who can relieve me from Abdullah bin Ubay? On that, Usayd bin Hudayr got up and said to Sa'd bin Ubadah, La amrullahi, by the eternity of Allah, we will kill him. Hadith 41. Narrated Aisha, regarding, Allah will not call you to account for that which is unintentional in your oaths, Surah 2, Ayah 225. This verse was revealed concerning such oath formulas as, no, by Allah, and, yes, by Allah, something against his oath due to forgetfulness, should he make expiation? And the statement of Allah, and there is no blame on you if you make a mistake therein, Surah 33, Ayah 5. And Allah said, Moses said to Qadir, call me not to account for what I forgot, Surah 18, Ayah 73. Hadith 42. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Allah forgives my followers those evil deeds their souls may whisper or suggest to them as long as they do not act on it, or speak. Hadith 43. Narrated Abdullah bin Amr bin al-As, while the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was delivering a sermon on the day of Nahr, that is, 10th Dhul-Hijjah, day of slaughtering the sacrifice, a man got up saying, I thought, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, such and such a thing was to be done before such and such a thing. Another man got up, saying, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. As regards these 3 acts of Hajj, I thought so and so. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, Do, and there is no harm, concerning all those matters on that day. And so, on that day, whatever question he was asked, he said, do it, and there is no harm therein. Hadith 44. Narrated Ibn Abbas, a man said to the Prophet, while he was delivering a sermon on the day of Nahr, I have performed the tawaf round the Kaaba before the Rummi, throwing pebbles, at the Jamrah. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, there is no harm therein. Another man said, I had my head shaved before slaughtering the sacrifice. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, there is no harm. A third said, I have slaughtered the sacrifice before the Rummi, throwing pebbles at the Jamrah. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, there is no harm. Hadith 45. Narrated Abu Hurairah, a man entered the mosque and started praying while Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, was sitting somewhere in the mosque. Then, after finishing the prayer, the man came to the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and greeted him. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said to him, Go back and pray, for you have not prayed. The man went back, and having prayed, he came and greeted the Prophet. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, after returning his greeting said, Go back and pray, for you did not pray. On the third time the man said, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. Teach me how to pray. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, When you get up for the prayer, perform the ablution properly and then face the Qibla and say Takbir, Allahu Akbar, and then recite of what you know of the Quran, and then bow, and remain in this state till you feel at rest in bowing, and then raise your head and stand straight, and then prostrate till you feel at rest in prostration, and then sit up till you feel at rest while sitting, and then prostrate again till you feel at rest in prostration, and then get up and stand straight, and do all this in all your prayers. Hadith 46. Narrated Aisha, when the pagans were defeated during the first stage of the Battle of Uhud, Satan shouted, O Allah's slaves! Beware of what is behind you. So the front files of the Muslims attacked their own back files. Hudayfah bin al-Yaman looked, and on seeing his father, he shouted, My father! My father! By Allah! The people did not stop till they killed his father. Hudayfah then said, May Allah forgive you. Urwa, the sub-narrator, added, Hudayfah continued asking Allah's forgiveness for the killers of his father till he met Allah, till he died. Hadith 47. Narrated Abu Hurairah, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, If somebody eats something forgetfully while he is fasting, then he should complete his fast, for Allah has made him eat and drink. Hadith 48. Narrated Abdullah bin Buhayna, once Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, led us in prayer, and after finishing the first 2 rakat, got up, instead of sitting for at-tahiyyat, and then carried on with the prayer. When he had finished his prayer, the people were waiting for him to say taslim, but before saying taslim, he said takbir and prostrated, then he raised his head, and saying takbir, he prostrated, sahu, and then raised his head and finished his prayer with taslim. Hadith 49. Narrated Ibn Mas'ud, that Allah's Prophet led them in the Zuhr prayer and he offered either more or less rakat, and it was said to him, O Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him. Has the prayer been reduced, or have you forgotten? He asked, What is that? They said, You have prayed so many rakat. So he performed with them 2 more prostrations and said, These 2 prostrations are to be performed by the person who does not know whether he has prayed more or less rakat, in which case he should seek to follow what is right. And then complete the rest of the prayer, and perform 2 extra prostrations. Hadith 50. Narrated Ubay ibn Ka'b, that he heard Allah's Messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, saying, Moses said, Call me not to account for what I forget and be not hard upon me for my affair with you. Surah 18, Ayah 73. The first excuse of Moses was his forgetfulness.